So lovely, good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Siambo to present. And our top stories in the news tonight: 2022 GCE candidates protest demanding for their results. Zambia urged to translate freedom into economic prosperity. Opposition MPs shunning national events regrettable, charges UNIP. And in international news, rising rates of kidnap-for-ransom in Cameroon traumatize residents. And in sports news, sporting Lisbon boss RUBEN AMORIM in contention for Aston Villa manager's job.
You know, I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Are you going in grade 6, 8, 10, or 11 in 2023? Waste no time. Born for Greatness Tuition Center will be opening to the public in Kablonga, Lusaka. Quality and experienced teachers guaranteed. Limited space available. Call and book for your child now on
0962 382535.
Classes are starting on 5th December 2022. Born for Greatness Tuition Center. Learning for reigning in life.
Hello once again, another news in detail. Some candidates who sat for the General Certificate of Education GCE 2022 examination risk losing opportunities to apply for current employment opportunities advertised by the government due to lack of their GCE results. The candidates whose results have been withheld by the Examination Council of Zambia ECZ on allegation of examination malpractice have lamented that if ECZ continues holding on to their results, they will end up being destitute because an opportunity would have slipped out. They have since called on Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema to intervene in the matter. Minister of Education Douglas Yakalima, Monday 26 September 2022, informed the nation that ECZ had withheld results from 69 horse center examinations due to examination malpractices until the issues were resolved by the appropriate committee of councils. More in this report.
These are some of the candidates representing others who sat for the General Certificate of Education GCE 2022 examinations whose results have been withheld by the Examination Council of Zambia on allegation of examination malpractices. According to the Examination Council of Zambia, results for 63 schools across the country have been withheld, and that until investigations into the matter are concluded, the results will not be released. However, some of the affected students Monday marched at the Freedom Statue where the laying of the wreath for the commemoration of Zambia's 58th independence was being held, with the hope of attracting the attention of the head of state, President Hakainde Hichilema, or they have pleaded with that he looks into their issue.
This my youth nalemba exam 2022 GCE. Tipempa mwabantu wa mulungu tipempa ise please. Baisize system release my results yatu please. Isabena nguma families yatu. Kulibe bamene banaenda kwa nguni ku college nganguni kuti. So isa ndiye amene bachetekera no wanda banasakira drama kuti tishite bwanji tiende kuma school tushitako vintu vanzeru no chinja ma families yatu. So we are begging you, the father of the nation, please hear our cry.
Traveled all the way from Chinga province. And my sisters, they have traveled from Livingston. Others, they have traveled from different areas, the Copper Belt, and some from Kabwe. So please, try to hear us. We are here. seeking for our results. Nothing else but results.
Unonkala ma prostitute, stifuna uti ma brothers batu bankale bakawala bakazienda mu street kuyamba opoka abantu mafoni, no anda tinankala pa ma exams. Tisakira ma future yatu, tifuna otandiza ma parents. Kuti ma parents bapeze ko ma benefits kurise cause parents akakula amafuna benefits ku mwana wake. So ndiye chikulu. Ma parents batu nibo vutika bagurisa matomato kuma market era muzi bache ma business ya kuma market si business yo chetekera so tapapa atamusitire ko release ma result tapapa ndiye time ndiye chance ya mene iye.
With massive job opportunities such as those of the recruitment of Zambia Army officers, Zambia Correctional Warders and Wardresses, and the Zambia National Service, these candidates risk not applying for these opportunities because their grade 12 results are being held by ECZ.
We need to apply in ZDNS, in other institutions. Others are nurses, they want to graduate, but they can't graduate without their results. So please, sir, hear our results as your children. We don't know the criteria which the ECZ were using. Other schools received their results, but in other schools we didn't receive our results.
We have come up with this banner. We are saying we need our results for 2022, which we set. There are employment ayeshile muchalo. Manje farmer results yesungana bekatanish twalale mbashani twala station apply. Please, our father of this nation, Barry, hear us.
They say an opportunity comes once in life, and when it goes forever. These candidates risk losing out on opportunities that can transform their lives if the ECZ keeps on holding to their results. Their last hope is now for the president to intervene in their matter. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Residents of Justin Kawe Ward in Lusaka's Mandevu constituency say they are being plagued by swarms of mosquitoes at night due to stagnant pools of water that have filled the compound from numerous water leakages. A check by Camnet News found various water leakages covering almost the entire ward, attributed to dilapidated underground water infrastructure. Meanwhile, Justin Kawe Ward Development Committee Chairperson John Kagona says such leakages are not only compromising the quality of water delivered to homes, but are also destroying roads as people are forced to make furrows to allow the water to pass. More in this report.
This is Justin Kawe Ward of Lusaka's Mandevu constituency, where one does not need a tap to fetch water, as some residents even resort to drawing water from various water leakages around the community, as can be seen. The problem, which the residents say has been existing for a long time, has also led to pools of water becoming a breeding ground for mosquitoes and plaguing the community.
Leakages, yamanzi, whatever, my drainages kuno kufasa each and every time. Tingana my drainages yankala yo fasa. Tu kuno tavutika wa mosquito just because yamene ya leakages. Kuna mosquito wachita monga wa inzivana bazafa na malaria kuno. Every time a mosquito so typhoid kuno. So mutikire konzero babomba. But tandi zireko pali inkani.
Yes, we have a complaint about these leakages yama roads. We have been complaining Kuluba Lusaka water, but they are not doing anything. They are not doing anything. Here kids are being sick over this water. Uko bazachoka bana boso wele na kuvimanzi here, but you know wanasunga about that to stop doing this. These are kids.
Others are worried that this may lead to an outbreak of waterborne diseases, as the leakages are from water pipes as well as from sewer pipes.
Abana banga twalolokolera tjakaisiya yende yankala yayimirira manzi, especially kuja kwa tunalipa nyumba au nikuchoka na boat ngamba kuloko. So kufunika kiti ma drainage kuti manzi yakazienda.
Meanwhile, Justin Kawe Ward Development Committee Chairperson John Kagona has also spoken out on the situation, which he feels is destroying roads, as people are now making furrows to let the water pass.
When I went there, I went to have an overview of the situation so that as I report to Lusaka Water and Sewerage, I report exactly what I know. But now the people are becoming hostile because of that same the service they are getting from Lusaka Water and Sewerage. They are saying these people, they will come and work today, tomorrow it's blocked. They come and work on a Monday, on Friday there is a blockage.
He has called for an overhaul of the water and sewer infrastructure in the community as a permanent solution. Meanwhile, Camnet News has also reached out to the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company to determine the way forward on the prevailing situation in Mandevu constituency. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A 16-year-old girl of Lusaka's Mbasela compound who dropped out of school after falling pregnant says her desire is no longer to get married but further her education. In an interview with Camnet, Mercy Tembo, who has a son aged 1 year and 9 months, explains that she got pregnant when she was 14 years old due to peer pressure, but has seen no benefits from her pregnancy. She adds that her goal is to go back to school and attain her dream career and hopes to achieve that with a free education policy in place. More in this report.
At the age of 14 in 2019, Mercy Tembo, not her real name, was enticed by blind love and fell pregnant. At the same time, she was supposed to sit for a primary school leaving certificate examination. Believing she would be better off, Mercy, who is now 17 years old, went ahead and dropped out of school and planned to get married to the father of her child, 25 years old Jackson Mulinda, but soon realized her mistakes. Fed up with the creepy situation, Mercy has since gathered a durable courage, ready to face anything and never get weakened by her love for school. She says she no longer desires to get married and wants to take advantage of the free education policy and return to school. Her grandmother is delighted with the news that her grandchild has realized her mistakes and is ready to go back to school.
Chifukwa ndiye first born mu family ero wankala na mwana instead of kuti ni mutandizo yaende kusogora tambo tanizira mwana ujaromba ni problem ikuru maningi.
Concerned Citizen for Justice and Human Rights says it will assist the child with other needs.
Us as organization and other stakeholders to come on board and help her, because this is the high time when children they are saying no to early marriages, when children are saying no to teenage pregnancies. I think it's high time also as a government and as the stakeholders to come on board and support these children who are claiming their rights so that their rights can be defended.
The organization has also questioned why Mulinda decided to continue being in a relationship with an underage person. Nearly 30% of adolescent girls in Zambia become pregnant by the age of 18, according to the Zambia Demographic Health Survey. This high rate of teenage pregnancy remains a significant concern and poses major development challenges, such as reducing the opportunities to actualize their full potential and entangles them in perpetual cycle of poverty and inequality. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Opposition Patriotic Front Chilubi Member of Parliament Mulenga Fube has charged that the party will not become the current administration's praise singers in offering checks and balances. In an exclusive interview, Mr. Fube says sentiments by the ruling UPND that the Patriotic Front is a dead party which cannot contribute any meaningful checks and balances is a bad energy statement which should not be linked to the country's democratic space. Meanwhile, the lawmaker has accused the UPND of having stolen some councillors during the recent teacher recruitment. More in this report.
The opposition Patriotic Front has maintained that it is still the major opposition political party in the country, and it is unreasonable for anyone to claim that it is not. PF Chilubi Member of Parliament Mulenga Fube says the party has continued to offer its service as a major opposition political party, by offering the quality checks and balance to the ruling United Party for National Development, adding that sentiments by the UPND that the PF is a dead party which cannot contribute to any meaningful checks and balance is a bad energy statement which should not be linked to the country's democratic space.
We have, I think PF has performed very well and in a mature way than the opposition we had then when we were in power. We have performed in a very mature way and we have engaged government using that particular platform in a very mature way. Then when you say they do not have an opposition, we are the biggest opposition. Out of the 1,842 councillors, we have a big share. And they have ventured into even stealing councillors through teacher recruitment. So if we are not a big, opposition, why are they scared in venturing that? So when we talk about that, I think let's not play politics with people's lives. We are still the biggest opposition. They can argue the way they can do and the like, but officially and even on the ground, we are the biggest opposition. So when we talk about they don't have that is negative energy which should not be linked to our governance.
Meanwhile, the lawmakers accused the UPND of having stolen some PF councillors during the recent teachers' recruitment.
What is it that they want us to do? Because checks and balances is not becoming praise singers. No, we will not become praise singers. Our duty is to identify where weaknesses are and bring them to government for their attention. Even the meal allowances, it's us who have been talking about them. And if anything, those young people were marching and raising UPND, symbols, they were offside because those belong to the nation, they belong to everybody.
For quite some time, various politicians have questioned the party's credibility when it comes to offering critical checks and balances. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The United National Independence Party, UNIP, has charged that Zambia cannot boast of a progressive labor sector 58 years since it got liberty from the colonial master in 1964, stating that most general workers in foreign-owned industries are still receiving slave treatment. In an interview, UNIP spokesperson Andrew Mwima notes that this calls for reflection on whether the country is indeed free in all sectors with all citizens enjoying equal rights. He adds that to date, most products that the country uses have continued to be sourced from outside, noting that the state of the country's economic liberty calls for reflection and necessary remedial policies. More in this report.
The United National Independence Party, UNIP, says to reach a status of prosperity, there is need to reflect on which areas can be improved, such as the labor sector, noting that this is one area which needs serious intervention, stating that Zambians are being subjected to slave labor. Speaking to Camnet News, UNIP spokesperson Andrew Mwima says while the country is free from colonial masters, many citizens are still socially and economically bound, especially those in foreign-owned industries.
We want the Zambians, even when they go for work, they know they are going to work. Not where a Zambian goes for work, they don't know when they are going to be paid. Even when they are working, they are just pleading. They can't complain. You try to say, I'm sick, I want to go on sick leave. Even women to go for maternity leave, there is nothing. Then you lose your job. It's not supposed to be that. They work long hours and get just peanut. Even right now, I can say, may the UPND government look in how much Zambians are being paid. They are getting literally nothing. And this is their country. And how can the money remain in the country? And most of the money is taken out of the country. No wonder the kwacha can be strong today, but tomorrow it goes down.
The UNIP spokesperson further notes that the country's overdependence on imported products also calls for reflection, as there is need for Zambia to produce various goods locally.
So the question, the challenge we have as a new generation is, what is it that we are going to do to make this country become economically viable? Are we going to be like a marketplace, a dumping place where people come and do business and off they go? And our people, by the time UNIP left office, we had a lot of people working under parastatal companies. Yes, they were getting decent jobs, and we didn't have such a high rate of unemployment. We didn't have such a high rate of illiteracy.
He hopes that such interventions will remove Zambia from the map of impoverished countries and take it to its desired destination. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A Lusaka resident, Kelvin Wakunyuma, has called on Zambians not to take for granted the peace that it has enjoyed for the past 58 years. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Wakunyuma says this year's independence should be used to reflect on the suffering at the hands of the colonial master, as it will serve a purpose for people to appreciate the peace. He has since called on Zambians not to allow politics to divide the country, but to unite for the good of the country. Meanwhile, Ministry of Defense Chaplain Brigadier General Reverend Mutupeyo has called for Zambians to embrace the spirit of Ubuntu. More in this report.
The commemoration of Zambia's 58th Independence Day in Lusaka commenced with a laying of wreath at the Freedom Statue in the Central Business District at the Government Complex. Hundreds of Lusaka residents came to witness the ceremony, which also attracted many international dignitaries, government officials, former government officials, and freedom fighters. Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema and his counterpart, President of the Republic of Namibia, who is guest of honor at this year's independence, were the first to lay their wreath. Meanwhile, Ministry of Defense Secretary General Brigadier General Reverend Mutupeyo gave an homily where he encouraged Zambians to unite in love and peace.
Adding 70 to the years that one has, the reality is that most of us will not be alive. Therefore, let us keep in view that the decisions we make today have a future impact, and we only need to carry out our duties as good stewards. A disciplined society sustained by good ethics and moral fiber must work to root out the destructive influences that retard our progress, our reputation, and restraining the forward drive for prosperity for all.
And some Lusaka residents spoken to have called for unity in the country, adding that Zambia should not take advantage of the peace the country has enjoyed for 58 years.
Mulandu ababene abatushira apa pakutufaira icharo chikuti chibe chafuli. So tirelomba sana kuti tupitirishe na ife abashala kuti na ife tutwalire pantanshi.
Turafua kukubukisha pali unite na because bali bikire chintu pamo kuti bapoko independence na pali nomba kulapaka twabika unite no tukula konkere chama politics kuti uyu wachipani chaso wachipani cha ama politics tiangalenga kuti atupatule pali independence politics fimbi independence tientu wike forward independence and unite kuti cha unite kwe nkulo tulekula pali nomba
uno ushikuwale kwa 24 October tufuile twabukisha kwibukisha ko ama freedom fighters abafyashi beso abatulire obuntungwa then nama presidents abo abafumapo then nabene abalipo abaletungurura.
That this is the day when we got freedom to association, freedom, right to freedom, and we got our rights on this day.
The 58th Independent Anniversary has been commemorated under the theme Promoting Inclusiveness Towards Sustainable Social Development and Economic Recovery. Prudence Chota, reporting Camnet TV News.
Namibian President Haig Geingob says now is the time for Zambia to translate freedom into economic prosperity. Speaking when he officiated at Zambia's 58th Independence Day ceremony at State House Monday, President Gengob says Zambia and Africa as a whole can only be developed by Zambians. He says Namibia remains indebted to Zambia for the liberation struggle and warm hospitality. He adds that Zambia paid a heavy price for the liberation struggle in the region and continent, further urging the country to uphold peace and unity in order to foster development. And President Hakainde Hichilema has assured enhanced economic ties with Namibia. Here's a report.
24th October 2022, Zambians celebrated their Independence Day under the theme Promoting Inclusiveness Towards Sustainable Social Development and Economic Recovery. This is the day when Zambia liberated itself from Britain, and this year's event was being held at State House. Songs of joy and dancing and acts of solidarity to Zambia's economic recovery path as evidenced in the display of the International Monetary Fund bailout package briefcase, and some people have been awarded for demonstrating patriotism and portraying heroic attitude in various fields. Officiating the event, Namibian President Hage Geingob underscored the need for Zambia to translate its freedom into economic prosperity.
And economic emancipation. Today, Namibia is proud to congratulate the people of Zambia on 58 years of independence. This freedom is a gift, charity, in fact. This freedom is a gift, charity, in embrace. Protect it and nurture it so that this nation will continue to enjoy peace and stability. Peace and stability. With these two words, let me say, happy 58th birthday, my second home, Zambia.
He acknowledged that Zambia paid a heavy price during the liberation struggles of other countries and called for continued peace and unity in the country.
Zambia, when women found a home away from home. It was Zambia and its people who opened their homes and their hearts to welcome us as brothers and sisters. It was Zambia where South Africa had a Nambo Health and Education Training Center with one state hater for close to 5,000 Namibians. It was in Zambia that began Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has hailed Namibia for aiding Zambia's development in many aspects as he affirmed economic ties.
The importance of working together as the two countries, government to government, as they say, G to G, but also as business to business, B to B. Very important, because the business to business grows the economy, creates the jobs. And I want to say again, President Hakainde, Dr. Hakainde, Your Excellency, how grateful this country is, how gracious Namibia has been to this country, because the Namibian government, the people of Namibia, granted an important port facility at Walvis Bay to us.
The Zambian map-shaped cake was up for grabs to delegates from all walks of life, and not forgetting the dances and songs. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Meanwhile, Opposition Movement for National Transformation President Daniel Shimonza condemned political figures who have shunned the Independence Day event. He says this is an important national event which should not be politicized but bring people together in unity in honor of the independence struggle fighters. And speaking to Camnet TV, United National Independence Party UNIP President Father Trevor Mwamba says UNIP believes in democracy, hence participation in national events, adding that attending such events is also shows patriotism.
The opposition must learn to do politics of what we call multi-partisanship. Or because you see, in 1991, we became a multi-party democracy. And so we must distinguish between political issues that border on the fact that we have differences. But when it comes to national issues, I think that there must be a maturity that we must develop as a democracy where all political stakeholders and state actors, non-state state actors, we begin to work together for the common good of the country. Patriotism, I think, is part of the values that are enshrouded in Article 8 of our Constitution. So I think that to shun national events does not give credence to maturity in politics.
It started off right from the beginning of independence. The whole purpose of the Mulungushi reforms, for example, under UNIP, under President Kaunda, was to bring about economic independence, economic development for all Zambians, which benefits Zambians, and to encourage Zambians in the industry, entrepreneurs, and so forth. So yes, it is. The resources belong to our country, and it is the Zambian people who must benefit. So we must all work together to develop our country. This is our second liberation, if you like, to ensure that the wealth of the country benefits the people of Zambia.
This is Camnet Television and not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
This Independence, take advantage of our special offers. We're having our flat drip tapes at 2,800 kwacha, or you can get it per meter at 1 kwacha 15 gwei. Get our 500 meter round hose with a 1.1 millimeter thickness at 1,200 kwacha. Rainglow, bringing you durable products that will last you many seasons. Are you going in grade 6, 8, 10 or 11 in 2023? Waste no time. Born for Greatness Tuition Center will be opening to the public in Kablonga, Lusaka. Quality and experienced teachers guaranteed. Limited space available. Call and book for your child now on
0962 382535.
Classes are starting on 5th December 2022. Born for Greatness Tuition Center, learning for reigning in life.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. The Lusaka High Court has set the 15th of November 2022 as the judgment date in the case in which State House Chief Communications Specialist Clayson Hamasaka has sued government seeking damages for false imprisonment over his arrest in 2013. Recently, Mr. Hamasaka asked the court to enter judgment in default of appearance and defense against the state in the matter, contending that it has failed to offer any defense nor give any notice of intention to defend the case. The court, however, says it will give its final verdict on the 15th of next month. According to a statement of claim filed before court, Mr. Hamasaka states that on the 9th of July 2013, he was subjected to an arbitrary house and personal search by a combined team of DEC and Zambia police, who had alleged that they were looking for drugs in his house, and was later arrested. The plaintiff states that his arrest and subsequent prosecution for the initial charges of dealing in drugs, defamation of the president, and seditious practices was widely publicized in print and electronic media, both locally and internationally, leading to his dismissal at work. Mr. Hamasaka states that though he was acquitted in 2015, he has suffered loss of earning capacity of business, loss of reputation, and injury to his personal credibility as a result of the forced arrest and prosecution. 6 CDF projects amounting to 829,873 kwacha have been handed over to the community in Chitambo district. Speaking during the handover ceremony in Chitambo district, area member of parliament Remember Mutale thanked the people of Chitambo, precisely in Katonga, Chipundo, Chalilo, Lusenga and Chitambo wards, for their support towards the government projects. He added that the community needs to work together with the ward development committees, councillors and the local authority in order for inclusive development to be actualized. And Chitambo Town Council Chairperson Brian Mwelwa urged Chitambo residents to take advantage of government's desire to develop the country through CDF. Some of the projects handed over include Chititima Primary School's 1x2 classroom block at 247,976 kwacha, Mangala Primary Staff House at 99,397 kwacha, Kalungu Staff House at 122,000 kwacha, Kafinda Maternity Wing at 115,000 kwacha, and Chalilo Market at 150,000 kwacha.
Ngani kliniki, ngani liskulu, ngani nganda ya wakafundisha mwalaika la pamo, mwebene mumone chinshi chilefu aikwa. Wangu muchite apply period yeko ichiru kwamba fino tulelanda advert ile raninga mpaka fepa 30th November. So wangu muchite apply pakulanda ati bese bachite consider application yenu. Ngachakulanda tamachitefyo nishi nimwo mwebene mwakano buyantanshi. Power development mlevu mupitemo mulanshanye n'abantu chinshi cho balefwaya teimwe mweka timwika lefe mweka mufire mwaipusha abantu chinshi chilefwaya ko kubombela abantu nga balanda ninshi bakwalaisa abadibeti bamwati chipatala bamwati ninganda ya pa kliniki bamwati ninganda ya bakafundisha bamwati li skulu nomba mufire mwasuminisha chintu chinga chimu
amashima yandini nebo Juliet Chibuye ndetotela kubuteko okupitila muri ba member of parliament n'obuteko obuleteka okuleta obuyantanshi kuno ku Chitambo makamaka kuno ku Kyalilo n'abatuletela obuyantanshi bamonga banamayo so ifwe banamayo tuli abansansa tuletotela na pabuteko bwine batwalirire okutila obuyantanshi butwalirire ikyalo kyonse.
Squatters have invaded 1,607 hectares of land belonging to Popota Agricultural College in Choma, causing land degradation and indiscriminate cutting down of trees on college land. College Principal Melon Mulamfo said the squatters are mining sand and stones from the college land, thereby inconveniencing his institution. Mr. Mulamfo appealed to agricultural authorities in the ministry to assist his institution to deal firmly with the problem of squatters who have invaded the entire farm number 1624 belonging to the college. For details, here's a report by Lawrence Kabutu of Nais in Choma.
Squatters have invaded 1,607 hectares of land belonging to Popota Agricultural College in Choma, causing land degradation and indiscriminate cutting down of trees. College Principal Melon Mulamfu said the squatters are mining sand and stones from the college land, thereby inconveniencing his institution. Mr. Mulamfu appealed to agricultural authorities in the ministry to assist his institution to deal firmly with the problem of squatters who have invaded the entire farm number 1624 belonging to the college.
There is 1623 and 1624. The 1624, that one, the whole piece of land has been taken by squatters. Then the 1620 hectares, 1,670 hectares, that one is already gone.
And Director Human Resource and Administration said the institutional land is on title, thereby calling on college administration to follow the due process of the law to deal with the squatters.
Law enforcers even there, I think there's a police station or a police post. We get them and ensure that the full process of the law is followed. You make an example of 1 or 2, 3 people, everybody will comply.
Mr. Sakwiba said the college should partner with the Ministry of Green Economy to plant trees in the college land aimed at addressing land degradation caused by squatters.
Collaborate with our colleagues in the Ministry of Green Economy. This vast land, we start turning it into what? Plantations. Trees. We are saying we should be planting trees. For this land, we start where they are encroaching.
Reporting, Lawrence Kabutu in Choma.
You're watching Camnet Television News. We take our second and final break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Are you going in grade 6, 8, 10 or 11 in 2023? Waste no time. Born for Greatness Tuition Center will be opening to the public in Kablonga, Lusaka. Quality and experienced teachers guaranteed. Limited space available. Call and book for your child now on
0962 382535.
Classes are starting on 5th December 2022. Born for Greatness Tuition Center, learning for reigning in life.
Now in international news, in the Mba-Lainde village in northeastern Cameroon, kidnappers are emptying entire localities. One of the farmers was abducted while working one morning on his field. His kidnappers then forced him to walk for days to join neighboring Chad, where their rare base is located. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
In the Mba-Lainde village in northeastern Cameroon, kidnappers have emptied entire localities. This farmer was miraculously saved. He was abducted while working one morning on his field. His kidnappers then forced him to walk for days to join neighboring Chad, where their rebase is located.
When they brought me to their camp after days of walking, they beat me, wounding me in the head. Some of them smoked and put out their cigarettes on my back. Another time, when they drank tea, they gave me nothing. On the contrary, they wanted to hang me. They passed a rope around my neck and pulled me to the ground as one pulls a tree.
This incident has traumatized the whole community.
Look at me now. I can't go to the field anymore. We're all afraid to go there.
The rising rates of kidnappings have worried the mayor of Tubora, the town located a dozen kilometers away from Mba-Lainde village.
Les enlèvements se comptent par centaines.
From January to today, there have been hundreds of kidnappings, and the ransoms that are paid are estimated in millions of CFA francs. There are no precise figure. The economic fabric of our locality relies on agriculture, livestock and trade. So despite all these basic facilities, not everything is possible.
Il y a des limites.
If the mayor praises the building of military bases, testimonies mentioning that kidnappers operate from Chad is a source of concern.
This is really a serious matter, and that's because former hostages mention a whole group of hundreds of people who, once they have operated on the Cameroonian side in our villages, retreat to the Chadian side.
Kidnappings have disrupted the economy of Tuboro, which depends on the export of cattle and farm products to Chad and the Central African Republic. Nearly 300 kidnappings were recorded since January. These past 3 months, 60 kidnappings for ransom were reported. Here, many now demand Cameroonian forces be allowed to chase the kidnappers in Chad.
Passengers and cargo stranded. Nigeria's raging floods have managed to bring life in the affected regions to a standstill. With roads and bridges washed away, trade in the country's southeast has virtually stopped. Truckers have had to park to wait for flooded rivers to recede, disrupting entire supply chains.
From Bayelsa, we managed to pass Bayelsa, but our way get here now, we couldn't pass here again because the road is cut off into two. See many tankers, many motos, they are way to pass, but no way. So we have been here to say what we can 1 days now.
Without a boat, moving from one state to another is virtually impossible. People have been fleeing flooded villages to safer ground. Many of the displaced have ended up crowding in schools and community centers. A single classroom can house as many as 50 people. But even here, food, clean water and beddings are hard to come by. The victims say government action has been slow.
We know that everywhere is hard. We are suffering in this place. Mosquito bite us every night. We don't used to sleep. The government should help us.
According to the authorities, the floods have killed more than 600 people and displaced 1.3 million since June across the country. The disaster is said to be Nigeria's worst environmental tragedy in a decade.
More African workers are filling in the gap of Tunisian labor market and hope the law can give them full protection from exploitation. Most of these migrants are often recruited for jobs in construction, cafes and restaurants in a North African country. It is not unusual for Tunisians not to pay what they owe to African workers. These workers are not asking for extra money, but only for the work they do. If they agree with someone on a certain amount, they will not ask you to add more and do not want to be paid less than what they agreed on. Tunisians exploit them and do not pay them their dues. I have sent qualified African workers to many of my friends and they are very satisfied. Their laws also provide a number of conditions for employment in the country and obtaining temporary or permanent residence permits. A Tunisian Economic and Social Forum has termed the laws unfit for its purpose in protecting some of these employed immigrants. Tunisian laws does not protect sub-Saharan African workers or foreigners in general. Tunisia has not ratified the Convention of Respect for Foreign Workers and their families, so Tunisians must work on the enactment of a new immigration law, and it is working on it. This law gives a new image of Tunisia after the dictatorship. All foreigners entering Tunisia are subject to a law dating back to 1968. Conditions of entry are very strict. Illegal migrants can be expelled and penalties are imposed on Tunisians if they harbor foreigners illegally.
It's now time for sports news. Sporting Lisbon boss Ruben Amorim is one of the main contenders to succeed Steven Gerrard as Aston Villa manager. Gerrard was sacked on Thursday after less than a year in charge following a 3-0 defeat by Fulham. Amorim, 37, has a reported £10 million release clause at the Portuguese club, and it is understood Villa have held talks with his representatives. Villa, however, have other contenders despite the strong interest in the former Portugal midfielder. Amorim has emerged as one of the most highly rated young coaches in Europe after his work with Sporting. He speaks English and his reputation has grown since joining Braga in 2020, leading the Lisbon club to their first Premier League title for 19 years in 2020-2021. They are currently third in Champions League Group D, a point behind leaders Tottenham going into Wednesday's game. The return match comes after Sporting beat Spurs 2-0 in the first group meeting in Lisbon in September. To end Camnet Television News, we'll take a look at stories headlines once again. 2022 GCE candidates protest demanding for their results. Zambia urged to translate freedom into economic prosperity. And opposition MPs shunning national events regrettable, charges UNIP. In international news, rising rates of kidnap for ransom in Cameroon traumatize residents. In sports news, Sporting Lisbon boss RUBEN AMORIM in contention for Aston Villa manager's job. Our Camnet verse for the day is coming from Proverbs 9 verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Once again, thank you for watching Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.